Hi, my name is Belinda Blain and I'm from East Maitland in New South Wales, Australia. I belong to the Rotary Club of Green Hills and I've been a member for almost a year. I volunteered for this project because it's one of our closest neighbours, Papua New Guinea, and my family, my husband and children, we have been the host family for some of the students who've come to Australia. So volunteering for the project was a way of, the kids have been part of our community, of coming and being a part of their community. The highlight of this trip, there's always like 20 highlights. It's really hard to choose one. I think for me, on a personal level, most probably seeing the students who've been to Australia and also the babies that have been born in the past, and seeing that the children are growing and that they're well and that they're happy. That's really a highlight personally. From more a professional point of view, a highlight's been seeing that the library is going well. There's always room for new things to happen, but it's being used. The books are there. I've had kids bringing library books back for returning. So that's been a highlight as well, just to see that the books are there, they're being used, they're being read, and, also, like I said, there are 20 highlights, but another one was yesterday. Most probably the highlight of yesterday was walking into the classroom, and it was literally a jaw-dropping, I don't even, it just didn't even look like the same classroom. So, if that's not a highlight, what is?
Okay, so what happened to that classroom?
It's been cleaned, it's been painted, it's just freshened, it's got a floor, it's just going to have physically more structure. It actually feels like a room, like it's got, 4 walls and a floor, and it's lighter. It just feels like a more permanent structure with the floor, and and we're going to put some posters up around the walls, so it just feels more permanent, more like you can belong in it, rather than it was very, it was even hard to walk around sometimes in the room before it had the floor in it. It was a lot of footing, hard for the desks to sometimes even stay still.
Okay.
So it was literally jaw-dropping. I was like,
So the team's done a good job doing that up.
In such a show, you know what? It reminded me of those TV shows, like, how they transform this something in, like, and you think, oh, but you can't really, surely.
Yeah.
It's just like, I walked away and I thought, it's like one of those renovation shows, except, people did it with, there's not a lot of infrastructure here. So, rocks down from the river, and so it's amazing that when people work together, that they can get so much done so quickly. With a lot of planning ahead of time as well. It doesn't just happen, and it doesn't just happen, I don't reckon, on the day. People have planned, and lots of people planned ahead of time so that it can happen, happen like that. But we could make a renovate my school.
Yeah, definitely. And so I've noticed you've been, I guess, a host mother to many of these children. We've had 12 children come over from PNG, but that I guess the sense of being a mother didn't just stop in when we're at home. You've come over here, and you are like the mother hen, and you're not only still taking care of these children here. Yesterday you actually walked up to see one of the children's mothers that hasn't been too well. Yes.
It's very hard mothering's hard on any given day, but when you come here, it's a different role, but you definitely feel, when you've had somebody in your home and you've actually been responsible for them, like that's someone else's child. It's a little bit hard and a bit challenging sometimes when you do come here to balance it all out, and but you still feel a very you feel really connected to them. And we got to see Addie's mum yesterday, and Judy and Lynn, who are extremely experienced nurses, were able to come with us, and Scott, and we were able to have some interaction with the family as well, which we hope will long-term be positive, a positive outcome, both in terms of the family structure and as well as Addie's mum, who did sustain a domestic violence injury. So, yeah, it was, you do worry what happens when there's no team here or no nurse or no, but, when you can do what you can, you hope that somehow that, has a flow-on effect. So it was an emotional thing, but it was a good thing. And the most important thing to me was that Atty felt really good that had happened, that she realised that she didn't just come to Australia for, to go to Taronga Zoo and have a nice time, that we really do genuinely that we care about what happens to their community, their families, their babies, their children, their old people, their school, I could tell that she was that it helped her a lot. Because she'd been away. That was a tough situation for her to come home into, so... And Scott yesterday, I think it'll stay with me forever, Scott said, explained to Addie's dad that Addie was now part of our group or our tribe. So I can't, and that for me was... and she was, Scott's children go to the same school that Addie attended in Australia, and she is part of our, she remains part of our, our school community, even though she's a long way away.
Yeah.
He made my day.
Yeah. Okay, well, on behalf of the people of Nondugl and the team, you have been here. This is your third time.
Third trip.
Yeah, so I'd like to thank you so much for your time and effort and the love that you've put into this project.
It's a pleasure. It's tough some days, but a pleasure.
Thanks, Belinda.
Thanks, Mel.